Hey guys, I want to welcome you and let you know how great it is to have you here for the Greater Purpose Podcast.
Welcome to the Greater Purpose Podcast from the Cubs room. And we have a returning guest today who I will introduce in just a second. So he's not enthralled by the Cubs room because he's been here before. But, you know, once you've been here, when you come back, it's not quite as
well. Actually, I think this time what I started doing was taking note of things that wasn't here the last time I was here. So
okay.
Your continued dedication to the collection is impressive.
It is being noticed.
I will say the last time I was here, I don't think the bats were up.
Actually, there were some, but not as many.
Yeah,
we added a couple of bats.
But no, it's the.
And you see, I've got hooks up there.
I saw that. Yeah.
So if some local judge happened to be somewhere near, like at a flea market, or they were in Chicago,
yeah,
and they found one of those bats, and then they sent it
and
in.
Then it appeared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it is impressive, the continued dedication to the collection. There are people who collect for short periods of time because they like the rush of it, and then they just kind of get put away somewhere and you just forget about it until they sell it on Facebook. But your dedication to the team and to the collection is impressive.
This is a minimum of I would say 54-year collection probably.
Wow.
Now some of the items are older than that, but I purchased them after that. But if my first item that I have when I was probably 8 or 9 is in here, then that's minus 862 minus 8. So I don't know what that is. I'm not very good at math. So, but 54 years.
Yeah,
54
I would say
year
that's
dedication.
impressive. I don't know that. I might have some things that my grandparents were kind enough to keep.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't necessarily have a collection of anything.
I have there's a shirt. That shirt right there, I wore when I was 14, believe it or not. And there's a helmet, one of those helmets over there. I think the far one to the left. I wore that I was 11 years old and I played in an all-star game. I don't know why they let me wear that. I didn't wear a baseball hat. I wore that in the outfield when I was playing left field.
Oh, it's probably just like, just let them do it.
I know, they did. I don't know why they did, because they wouldn't let you do that today. They would not.
Oh, no. Well, you can't do half the things that you could do when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Today
True.
it's amazing how we all survive in the world with the things that are going on.
Yeah. Now, I didn't wear it when I batted. I could only wear it, but I wore it in the outfield instead of a regular hat. So that was I actually have pictures of it. So.
That's
but
cool.
anyway, life. I would definitely say this is a lifelong collection. One of my last guests said that he thought it would be great. I guess John Gruden does a podcast and has these schools send him these boxes of collectibles or whatever.
Right.
And then he opens it up and he talks about the school or whatever like that. So his suggestion, in case anybody out there is interested, would be if you send us Cubs stuff, from, you went to Wrigley Field, you visited Chicago and went to a flea market, you found some cool stuff.
Right.
Or, you found this really expensive Cubs item online and you wanted to just send it to us. We'll be glad to open the box right here on the podcast.
Well, I think that the judge who has the office next to me, Judge Clark, I know that he has Sandberg jersey in his office.
Well, see, you could send that to us.
Or one day when he's absent, I could just bring it over here.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Or he could come to the podcast and just show it to us.
Yeah, that would be good.
That might be something. People could bring their Cubs items and show them.
Yeah,
so,
and it's
if they wanted to leave them as a gift, they could do that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
he's got it in a shadow box. It's on the wall. Like it's impressive. Yeah.
Well, I have. This is my Sammy Sosa right here.
Wow.
And she's back here. There's really no place to put it where everybody could see it. So that's not what the podcast was supposed to be about today, by the way, but it's okay. So this, autographed Sammy Sosa, and this is the first time it's been on camera. A friend of mine, Sean, your last name, Nesbitt. Sean, went out of my head. Yeah. Sean Nesbitt, friend of mine, he was coming to our breakfast until he moved.
Oh, okay.
The veteran, he was in the Army.
Okay.
But he walked in one day. We were going out to dinner with him and his girlfriend, and he walked in one day and he throws me this Walmart bag in my lap, and he goes, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Okay." And I open it up, and there's this Sammy Sosa jersey, autographed. Yeah, so pretty cool.
I was gonna say, well, that might. I mean, obviously, this is impressive, but that might be an item that goes into the house if it was.
Oh, don't worry, we're protected out here. Everything's protected out here. I promise. Yeah. So, anyway, now let's get to the podcast. Now that we've talked 15 minutes about the Cubs room. Yeah. By the way, if you want to come see the Cubs room, you're welcome to. You don't have to be a podcast guest. That's not a requirement. We welcome you to come. And my last guest was like, "Dude, you're not like the Chicago Cubs have not sent somebody to do a documentary on this thing." I mean, he was pretty enamored with it. So.
The floor is what like I always am amazed by. I mean, to the point, and I know that you can't see this, but the floor are all baseball cards under plexiglass, and they're even into a design where you've got the Chicago Cubs design in the back. Like just that attention to detail to where literally surrounded by it.
You can tell my passion.
Yeah. That is.
Well, here's what I'll do. Yeah. I've done, and I want to do it now because if I move the camera, we'll be all out of sorts. Yeah. But I will do another. I've done a couple of shorts and reels and stuff on them before, but I'll do a special reel sometime within the next week, and we'll look at some of the stuff on the floors and walls and shelves. How's that sound? Does that sound good to you? I hear the cheering crowd back there. All right, so we're going to get started here. Yeah. I do want to mention our primary sponsor, A+ Lawn Care and Landscaping. Scott Sheehan does a great job down there. He can take care of all your landscaping needs, irrigation, lighting. They've got machines. They've got the outdoor statues and all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool stuff.
Well, and just a nice guy.
And he's great. Yes,
yeah, he's a great guy that I know Scott, and he's somebody that. I would trust to come out and be fair with whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. He does great work. He does it with a passion, and he does it quality work. So they also have, this is hunting season. They also have the deer lures and the deer feed. Okay. I'm not a hunter, so I know nothing about that. Yeah. Gus Anthony was talking about the other day, and I was like, "Dude, you got to get you some stuff over there." So anyway, A+ Lawn Care and Landscaping, 1812 East Ozark Avenue, down there in Gastonia. Go by and see Scott, or you can give him a call. I don't have the number, but we'll try to put it up here. But there's links in the description, so you can do that. But we appreciate his support and a lot of others. Morgan's Shoes and Bootery. We've had other supporters who come through and helped us out with stuff. So we appreciated all that, and I appreciate my friend Chip.
Nice to see you again.
Actually, Cameron.
It is Cameron, but and I think I might have talked about this last time. I got the nickname Chip when I was 3, and it just has stuck.
Chip off the old block, right?
Yeah. The only person who called me anything different was my grandfather, who'd call me Bub sometimes.
Okay,
but Cameron or Chip, answer to any of them. Yeah.
Well, my wife asked me one day. I think there was something on Facebook, and she goes, "Who's Cameron?" That's Chip. Okay, so I know because she had. I guess she met you at the GOP Christmas thing or something. Yeah. So she knew you by Chip.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. People always tell me you can tell how well somebody knows you if they call you Cameron. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Right. So or that you can tell also by the birthday thing on Facebook, because if it's Bill and Donna Ward and it's a birthday, I can tell mine is not like that. But some people, friends of mine, they share their Facebook page. but I can't ever remember their birthday, so I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah.
And then I feel kind of dumb because I'm like, okay, is it his or is it hers?
Well, I'll tell you, Facebook has saved me a number of times on the birthday situation.
Yeah.
Because, before technology, before we had all this at our fingertips, you would remember phone numbers and birthdays and all that kind of stuff. Now that you just don't have to, so you don't. And I can't tell you how many times Facebook has bailed me out on, family, friends, and, relatives.
I remember very few birthdays, and I only know two phone numbers, mine and my wife's, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so Chip's been with us before. Go back and check out his podcast, and you'll learn more about him personally. Yeah. But today, this is his return visit. So we've been having some guys come back and elaborate a little bit more on their godly walk and how it fits into their profession, or maybe they've got something specifically on their heart. So you've got some things that you want to share?
Well, yeah, I you and I have had conversations, and for the audience at home, since my last visit, I have had a career change. The last time I was here, I was an attorney, and we talked about.
So we're still that, right?
Yeah,
that was before your appointment. That's right.
And I was an attorney. I was representing people, and we talked about, how my faith works in the representation of indigents and things of that nature, and we kind of went through that. Well, I have been blessed enough to be appointed a judge position. Thank you. And I've been in that position for about 6 months now.
Wow.
And
it seems like longer than that.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a while, but it's been April. April was when it happened, and so with that, I've always believed and had like the Bible is good for every circumstance. If you have questions about anything, if you go there, you will find the answer if you just look, if you just take the time to look.
True.
And so, I wondered what, if there was anything specifically that spoke to me about, about this new career, about the responsibility of this new career, about this opportunity. And I even started turning the pages before the appointment because it was something I felt kind of called to do, and I kind of was pursuing and was very interested in. And so, and I think I mentioned to you a while ago that there were two things that I found, and I want to pull them up because I want to say them exactly correctly because and I keep them in my phone at all times. The first was Leviticus 19:15. You shall do no injustice in court. You shall not be partial to the poor or defer to the great, but in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. And I'm like, well, if that wasn't right on point for me and for this new position, I don't know what else is. And it goes on, and in the Bible that I was reading through, it was a teaching Bible. It was kind of going through, and it talks about the fact that as a judge, you are going to be held to a higher standard because you are the person who is making decisions for other people's lives. And that will be looked upon, when we get to heaven. What decisions did you make for others in your position of power? And so there's a weight that comes with that. And there's a weight that comes with, even more so than before, with the words I speak. And how I say it, and the tone I say it in, and because while I might see and have 100 cases in a day, for the person who's standing in front of me, it is the most important thing in their day, and it is the most important thing going on in their life at that moment, and for the attorneys, or for the children, or for the community, so. I've actually got a printout of that, and I keep it on my desk at work. And the other one that I have a printout of is Deuteronomy 16:19. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality, and you shall not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of righteousness. And so, I think that all of that just says that my job is to apply the law as given to me from the state legislature fairly, no matter who it is, what walk of life they come from, what their circumstances are, and not apply the law in how I think it should be, or how I would want it to be, or how the internet says it should be, or what we should be doing. But apply the law as it's given to me by the state legislature. Take the facts and like look at the facts and do what is just and fair based off of those facts with all of those things. And I stay up at night, and I've had conversations with other judges where I've had a case in front of me. I didn't make a judgment that day because I didn't feel like I had thought about it long enough. And I bring the parties back.
Wow.
And I'm like, I want you back in front of me next week. Because I want a chance to, one, think about it.
Right.
I want a chance to, two, make sure that I'm looking at the law correctly and there's not been any new updates. And I needed to figure out what is in the best interest of your child, or I need to figure out what does society call for in this situation, knowing that this has occurred. And so, I feel like this is God trying to give me an opportunity to serve my community.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's an opportunity that I feel blessed that I have been given this opportunity. But I also completely understand the weight of it. And one of my coworkers the other day said, when people get elected or get appointed to being a judge, they have this new judge shine to them for a while. and they said, you walked in and you had none of that. And I'm like, I was like, is that I said, is that bad? And they're like, no. It's like, you didn't walk around here going, I'm a judge. Like, like with that kind of bravado or that kind of whatever. You just came in and you just worked. And I'm like, well, that's what we're supposed to do. I was like,
well, we talked about this too before, and I'm bragging on Gaston County. And we all know the guys that we're talking about. And really the group of judges here, to me, act that way. I mean, from what I've seen, of course, I'm not in court. I might feel differently if I'm in front of you, but from what I see at the breakfast or at a whatever, everybody, they're just guys. They're just hanging out. They're building into each other's lives. I mean, I see judges, which we talked about this prior to, is in back in the day, it was like, oh, a judge, and they acted that way to some degree. But these guys are sitting down having scrambled eggs with a guy who works in a factory, or a guy who's on disability, or a guy who's or whatever.
Well, just because we have been called, or this is where we're at, I think a lot of us are like, we're no better than you. We're no better than our deputies. We're no better than the people standing in front of us. We're no better than,
and it should be,
and we're no better than the clerks. We're no better than anybody who's before us. But we have a duty, and the judiciary that Gaston County has right now, I will tell you, and I've practiced law or been involved with the courthouse for 23 years now. It's probably one of the strongest and best judiciaries in my career that I've ever seen. We have a group of amazing judges who, honestly, when we talk about things, we're talking about what is the right thing to do. And what should you do? All of us take it really seriously.
You should.
And
you should, and you do. Yes.
We don't take it lightly. We don't take what how it affects people lightly. In fact, we sometimes we'll get upset that why is this attorney not representing their client better, because they deserve better than what they're doing, or sometimes that will occur, but not anything of a negative nature towards the court system or anything like that. I actually think that in Gaston County, and I can't really speak to a lot of other counties, but in Gaston County, I think that if you have the occasion that you have to come to court, which people dread, I think at the very least, you can feel like you've been heard. You can feel like you've gotten a fair shake. And you feel like I feel like there's an opportunity that people are not going to demean you or to treat you lesser than because you're going through whatever situation it is.
Well, you're not supposed to be prejudicial. You're supposed to be objective, and you guys are. From what I'm not in court, Thank you, Lord. So I don't have to go feel that part of it, but I can imagine being, I mean, I've been in court, a divorce court, and it was I sat on the witness stand for 2.5 hours because the judge, who finally put a stop to it, said, this is ridiculous. Mr. Ward's been here. He's done everything he's asked to do, blah, blah, blah. He finally did. I give him credit for that. But there really was a point before that in my opinion,
it should have been.
He could have very easily said, you know what, this is out of hand.
Well, we talked about this too, and we talked about the wonderful work that, that's going on in our community through the court system, which is recovery court, veterans court, things that innately help people who are struggling and first-time offenders who need a little bit of assistance. That actually ends up better in our community in the long run, anyway. So there's a lot of good things that are going on, but no, I it's kind of one of those things that I don't want people to ever think that that as a judge, people are like, we're just sitting up there and we don't care about what's happening. We care more than we're probably even allowed to say.
Sure.
But no, it's such a blessing.
I think you guys are able to confer that without having to stand up and say, hey, I care about it. You don't have to do that. I think the way your demeanor in the courtroom confers to the person that you're addressing. I mean, I've heard some of Craig's courtroom speeches from other people, not from him. And I've heard them from people who they were spoken to, and they were going to jail for 2 years. I mean, or whatever, and they spoke, but it was spoken with compassion. It was spoken with concern. It was spoken with, hey, here's your chance to come back into society in the right way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can confer that, and I think you do. Right,
and I think that that society thinks that we're there solely to punish people.
Right,
and that is just not the case at all. Yeah. That is not the case at all. But I feel blessed. I feel lucky, and I feel that this opportunity is something that just reaffirms the fact that with the changes of life and with whatever you're going through and with whatever position or whatever thing is happening, that if you just take the time to open the book and and go, what does this mean to me? What does this mean to my faith? What does this mean to where I'm going? What does this mean in my relationship to my faith and to the people? The answer is going to be there.
Clear path.
The answer. I mean, it's going to be there. It's going to be there, and it's now. I'm not telling you it's the answer you're always going to want to hear,
right?
But it is the answer is there.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, but the answer is there. And Luke, it talks about with great responsibility. So that was another one that stood out to me. I was like,
that's
I'm like with 4 words or 5 words or 6 words, what I say can affect somebody for the next or for a lifetime.
For a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yep,
So, but no, that's kind of where I'm at. So changing that.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say this though.
Yeah.
You guys do have your own book in the Bible.
Yeah.
Book of Judges.
The Book of Judges. Yeah. The Book of Judges.
So I mean, I don't think there's no other profession.
Yeah.
That's their own book.
Yeah.
So,
I had a buddy.
There's no book of STEM teachers. No book of photographers. There's no book. It's kind of one of those things. No, kidding, but
I know. And my buddy said the other day, he's like, have you picked one out from Numbers yet? I'm like, I was like, because it's a buddy of mine that I talk to on a pretty regular basis, and it's nice actually, kind of like I'm sure it's nice just to have another guy to kind of talk about that with,
right?
Or another person to talk about that with, or
another, and that would be. I've seen that with people in multiple political positions because and pastors and stuff like that. Somebody of a position where they have to be careful what they say, who they say it to, how they say it to them, because if you entrust your comments to the wrong person, that can really come back to haunt you. Not necessarily just professionally, but personally.
Well, yeah, so. and it's kind of like it's nice just to have a trusted person that, I don't have to be Chip Harrison, the judge, or Chip Harrison, the whatever, the attorney, or Chip Harrison. And if you paid attention to the last one, Chip Harrison, the dance teacher.
Right.
I'm just chip,
Yeah.
and
nice.
it's like
Nice to be
no
able to-
kind of pretense or anything like that, and kind of vulnerability. But
You were going to switch gears though on.
oh no, I was just gonna say, but other than that, my life is still blessed in so many ways. I'm still have the opportunity to teach dance. I still have the opportunity to kind of work in that world and help.
Tell me about the dance. Tell me about this.
Yeah, we talked about
the
this
way God does stuff. And just brings stuff before you. I mean, opportunities, even though it's not a ministry opportunity,
right?
It's still
it's
an important opportunity.
It's just interesting. It's interesting the doors that open from relationships that you build.
Yep.
And that's kind of what happened. I built a friendship and a relationship with a dancer who lived up, I guess, in Pennsylvania, and she made contact with me, and she said, "I think this dance company called Capezio is pretty well known, is looking to do a dance shoot, and your name was thrown out as somebody who could design a new dance shoot." I'm like, really?
Wow.
It's like, yeah. They said, "Is it okay if I gave your contact information?" I'm like, sure. And so they reached back out to me, and for the past 6 months or so, we've been designing a dance shoot.
That's cool.
It's an interesting process where where it goes, what do you like about this? What do you not like about this? What kind of leather do you want? Do you want any kind of embellishments? Do you want what kind of stitching do you want?
Wow.
How do you feel about the heel on this? How do you feel about the width of this? How do you feel about this? And we've done prototypes. I think we're on number 7 right now, that we've done prototypes. And I think that they're launching the shoe. They're talking about
They're going to call it the Camry?
Yeah. Well, no, but it does. I think that they're putting like the code number for the shoe, because you can buy it like it's going to be CH something. Yeah,
that's cool.
But I think they're launching in January. They're doing the photo shoot in New York at the end of the month.
I think they should name it the Camry.
I agree. Unless they're afraid that it'll drive people away.
Or they could call it the Chip.
Yeah. But no, so that's going on. I've had a little bit of opportunity to travel some, which is nice. But just trying to stay active in my community. Because of the new position. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to collect money for charities anymore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I can't necessarily donate to anything anymore. Not because I still don't care about charities, but they don't want, if the idea is that if a judge comes up and asks you for money, you're much more likely to give it, even if you don't want to. And so I can understand that. And so, I've been trying to stay active in them, though. I'm attending events, attending things just to show my support. Trying to support people in this round of municipal elections, which is very important. People don't understand.
Huge.
People don't understand how important municipal elections are.
By the time this posts, will be 2 weeks away from. I think 2 weeks away from election day. So
and if you want to know, if you want to be involved in your community, and if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of what's happening on Main Street in your town, local politics is kind of where that happens.
Yeah, pretty good.
And
it can get ugly sometimes too. So.
It can, but all politics can get ugly. It shouldn't,
but it does.
If you let it, you're the one who controls that. Whatever says, there's a great saying from Benjamin Franklin, other people's opinion of me is no business of mine.
Right.
And I don't want people, it's hard to kind of turn an eye, but you can, how you engage.
Yes.
Is or not engage is important. And I think that there's a lot of people that we have out there running a good race who just want to make a difference, who want to make sure that our communities stay our communities, make sure our communities stay safe, make sure that our communities are ones that, I'd always tell people when I grew up, when the lights came on, I had to be home, right? And, we can't really have that anymore. You don't really have those kids outside playing, but, you still want to feel safe. You still want to feel like your community has a lot to offer everybody, the elderly, the kids who are growing up, or just somebody who's, seeing one wants to go out to a restaurant. And so there are a lot of people who are running on a lot of different in a lot of different ways, but there's a lot of good people. But I'm going to encourage people to take action and get involved with the municipals and
Yeah.
educate yourself and kind of get involved.
Educate yourself.
Yep.
Good start. Start there. Make sure you're not just taking everything at face value.
Right.
Investigate, research the candidates.
Yes.
Research, investigate their positions.
Yes.
Research and investigate their, say that if they're either in office or not in office, their not allegations. That's not the word I want to. If they're presenting something to you, make sure it's truthful.
Right.
I'm not saying there's a bunch of people not doing that, but if somebody says, I raised $1 million for the town, throw that out, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, research it first, make sure,
right?
Because he or she can say whatever they want to. Or if somebody says they stole $1 million, that guy stole $1 million.
Right.
Well, go research it.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not just spreading something that's completely false or not even close to being true.
Right. And because, and we talked about this earlier, like people are quick to complain,
yes,
but slow to act. And so, if you feel so moved and so inspired that you need to speak up about something, well, maybe that's your call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's your call to action to get involved and to talk to somebody about what's going on. Attend a meeting, a city meeting, attend a county commissioners meeting, and kind of learn and just to kind of go, oh, well, that makes more sense,
right.
or I don't agree with this, but get involved. It's the county and it's our county and we want it to be
Love
the best
Gaston
one we can.
County.
Yeah, no, it's people. I was raised here. I moved away for school. I came back, and at the core, it is still a community of people who want to help one another,
right.
And it's still small. It's still small enough that people know people, and people want to look after people, and people want to make it a good place, and that's commendable. Yep. I think.
There you go.
So
cool. All right. So anything else you want to wrap up with, or anything else you can think of that you want to share before we?
Well, I mean, it's, I guess it's kind of going from based off of that. When you receive a judicial appointment, you do have to run the next year. So I will be running next year. Yep. If you ever want any information from me or just to talk to me, I'd be glad to talk to you if you see me out. But other than that, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the continued, and I think that we've had discussions about this, that the power of the words you speak and the power of the community that you have built in Gaston County is impressive. You talk about your breakfast. You talk about like various events around the town. Like you had no part in doing that, and it is truly. I don't think that you give yourself enough credit for how much of a difference you make in people's lives, and how much you have helped all of us by just honestly being you and going out there and presenting yourself in a way that you're called to do. And so, like, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not supposed to do that to the host.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I don't know if I don't know if people tell you that enough.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm I'm overwhelmed at what God does. He put so many things together, and we use our skills, our abilities, and talents to do what he calls us to do, and I've tried to do that, and in turn he has done some amazing, truly amazing things, connections with some people that are, and all kinds of people, all walks of life. Yeah. Like I said, the factory worker talking to the judge, the district court judge, or the state representative talking to the disabled guy, or whatever that we do with our breakfast and stuff like that. But again, I am a part of it, and I do feel I'm a part of it, and I continue to. My wife supports me in it, which is amazing. But ultimately, God does the work. He does the finished product, and that's what you guys are. You guys are inspiring too, because I watch you guys daily, and I see you working in your situations, in your professions, and you, like we talked before the podcast, you're regular guys. You don't hold yourselves up to being somebody better than somebody else, and that means a lot to everybody that's watching. So,
I will say, and this, and I think I mentioned it before. To me, even though I have this position, I'm Chip Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
I was, raised by my grandparents. My grandfather was a mill worker. My grandmother worked at public service.
Yeah.
That's still me.
Yeah.
Like that, just because I've been called for this opportunity, doesn't mean that that's not still me.
Yep. And we appreciate that.
Yeah. So, I think a lot of, and I'm not the only one. I think across the board, I think Gaston County is blessed to have a number of good representatives and good judges. But no, I just wanted to say thank you, and I want to say thank you for inviting me back. I'm
glad you came.
I
appreciate it.
I'm glad you thought I was interesting enough to do another one.
Absolutely. So, and I'm not ashamed to say that we want to support you in your campaign. I'm not ashamed to do a little political thing there because we need to support good godly men that are approaching it from the perspective that you guys are, and I would not say that if it weren't true. And so get out there, get involved, and help support guys like Chip Harrison, who will be running next year. He will file in December. Campaign will start in earnest in December. You'll probably actually start a little before that.
Yeah. I told somebody the other day, I was like, you know what? That's a lot of work, but it's a blessing to get to do it. But it's a lot of work. But but if it's not campaign related, if you see me out, let's just talk.
Yep. Come say hi and give some encouragement. And sometimes just a handshake and a hey and a smile is helpful too. So now you don't get parting gifts like you got the first time because you got you remember the Lego.
Yeah, I got the Lego.
Yeah, you got all that. But what we do have, if I have what size t-shirt you wear?
I like to wear a large.
Right here on national television.
Oh man.
So hopefully we have a large. I should have checked beforehand. So
the awkward. You now have a crop top.
They're all like extra. Oh yeah. Let's give you. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yay! So we had the Greater Purpose Men's Conference T-shirts.
Oh, I appreciate that.
By the way, they're some of the great sponsors we were talking about. They're on there. So, it's obviously not ironed.
That's great.
But there we go. So there is your Greater Purpose Men's Conference, which, by the way, is coming up in April of 2026, the 4th Saturday in April. I think it's April 25th. You have no excuse for not coming because in plenty of time, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months.
You got a 7-month lead time.
Yeah, so don't come to me in May and go. Don't come to me in March and go. Oh, I didn't. You know right now. So. But anyway, Chip, thanks again for coming back.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for being here. Remember, like, subscribe, share, get it out there, do all that kind of stuff. We love you. We appreciate you, and God bless. Have a great one.